That's my guest, Tom Smith, chatting my ear off during a commercial break. All right, so we'll have Michael on in the future. First of all, I hope you're out there listening. That was a great top half of the show. That was Vicki Veltri, our Office of the Healthcare Advocate. That was actually the Ombudsman. So now I'm going to pivot to my favorite part of the show, my Mattituck Minute, which I am a proud board member of. We have Stephanie Harris on. Stephanie, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, Mike. How are you doing?
First of all, I sincerely apologize for bumping you for a little while, but I had the Ombudsman on, and she is pretty busy. She's the director of the whole Healthcare Advocate, so I'm sorry about that, Stephanie.
Not a problem. I was listening in. It was very fascinating.
Oh, I'm so excited. When you're a geek, and you're a good geek, and you need to have clients know they can trust you, it's good stuff. I mean, it's just great to know that they like me, they listen to the show. And, all right, so enough. Let's pivot. The Mattituck Museum, we've been kicking butt with the fundraisers. I'd like to definitely sincerely reach out to Philip Rowley, to Nancy and Joel Becker, to Stephanie Forrest, to Eloise, to Bob Burns, to my friend Wayne Sullivan, who owns Dumashell Paper, that gave a very generous donation, Norman Drubner, Webster Bank. God, you are incredible people. I mean, the campaign is going really well.
Yeah, Stephanie's been keeping me, updated on the progress, and it's going very well. I'm very excited to see all the support that we're getting from the community.
Yeah, the community really is behind us, which is good. It's actually, as a friend, a little expensive to be a board member, but that's okay. I can live with it.
Well, we appreciate your support.
I didn't want to let Bob down and the rest of the crew down, so I had to pony up some of my own money, which I feel is worth it, and it's a good cause. So, all right, what do you have on exciting for the museum this week?
Well, there's a couple things happening this week. We're in the second installment of our cinema series later this afternoon at 2 o'clock. We're showing The Talented Mr. Ripley up in the PAC.
Okay.
And next Wednesday is the final show for the cinema series, and that's Bread and Tulips, next Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I was over with the folks at Ollie this morning, and several of them were raving about this Bread and Tulips movie, which I've personally never seen. So I'm excited to see it next week, and I hope that we get some of your listeners to come over and join us.
Do you mean the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute?
I do.
Where one radio personality, Michael Regan, will be teaching in the fall, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah! Dr. Bill Pizzuto and Dr. Brian Chapman reached out to me. They listened to the radio show, and they said, hey, do you mind teaching a class? So it's going to be Baby Boomers' Guide to Medicare and Aging. And, things are going really well.
Fabulous.
Good. And, all right, so what do you have on the agenda? We have Third Thursday.
Yes, I'm really excited about this Third Thursday. It's something completely different for the museum. We're having a French-Canadian fiddler come in tomorrow night at 5:30. His name is Daniel Boucher. He's from the Bristol French-Canadian community, and it's in conjunction with our St. Anne's exhibit, which is down in the community gallery.
Okay.
So it should be a blast. He's going to be telling stories about growing up in the French-Canadian communities and how Waterbury and the Bristol, French-Canadian communities interacted and how they support each other, and the south end of Waterbury and how that's kind of where that's going and where it's been. So it's going to be some music and some storytelling.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then we're taking a break from First Thursday in September because of Labor Day. But we will be back with our Litchfield Jazz performers later in the fall.
Which is going to be excellent. I think the Litchfield Jazz Festival was last week and are going on now, right?
I believe it is going on this coming weekend, if I'm
up in
not
Goshen.
mistaken.
It's my wife's
Muir
birthday.
And Mike Gow work with us, and they bring in some
Mike
of the
Gow is a
performers.
great guy. I remember you introducing me to him.
Yes, he works really hard for the museum. We appreciate all of his support, and he's the one that has those personal connections with the musicians, which is why we get such a top-notch performance.
Which we do. All right, so we've got the Fiddler tomorrow.
Yep.
The movie, how's the movie cinema shooting going?
Good. We had some good response from the Summertime movie last week, and people are starting to arrive right now, actually, for the upcoming movie. And like I said, over at Osher Lifelong Learning, they had some really good things to say about next week's movie. So.
Beautiful. All right. That's Stephanie Harris with the Mattituck Museum. This is our Mattituck Minute. I can't thank you enough for being a loyal listener. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate your friendship.
Okay,
all right.
Bye.
Caller on line 1, Michael Regan. How can I help you?
Mike, how's it going? This is Eddie with Brown Roofing.
Eddie, all right. Actually, perfect segue. We have Thomas Smith. Thomas Smith, go ahead. Plug yourself and let people know what you're doing. And then this is the topic that Eddie's on for.
Okay. Again, my name is Tom Smith, and I have a component of my financial advisory practice called Aging Workforce Solutions. Michael and I were introduced a short while ago by a mutual friend who recognized that there were potential synergies in our practices because we see a vision for better wellness in our communities. And we are not a healthy society, and there are a lot of challenges that not only businesses, families, and communities are going to be facing as 10,000 baby boomers a day turn 65. And 70 to 80 million of those employees will be leaving the workforce over the next decade. So how are businesses, communities, and families going to adjust to the needs that these significantly larger aging populations will have? And there's a lot of different things that we do for our clients, including have oversight onto the big picture of family wellness, which can include something as mundane as maintaining the essential infrastructure of their residence.
Yeah, let's go over that because I've got Brown Roofing on the line. They're going to be a consultant, and you can definitely go over the wellness and everything. But on your website, you had 6 mistakes to avoid in long-term retirement planning. One was neglecting to maintain essential repairs on the infrastructure in your home. I mean, seniors, you know you're out there listening. It's true. They may not think of the roof or the gutters. I mean, this is on your website. This is brilliant.
And this is just something that, I recommend to my families to hire a trusted local person to come once a year to look at things like the roof. Because if the roof starts to leak, it can compromise the infrastructure of the house in a number of different ways. To have someone come and look at the furnace. If your furnace goes out in the middle of February, your house is not inhabitable.
All right, so we have our Brown Roofing, our local resident. Doesn't get any more local than Naugatuck. Eddie, where do you, Edward Griffin to be exact, but where do you and your family live?
We live in Beacon Falls.
Okay, so you've got Beacon Falls, Naugatuck, and Gary has been friends of mine for 20 years. It's Brown Roofing. I can tell you right now, I've used them for my building on Wilkett Street and for my home, and you've done a phenomenal job on both of them. What are some signs our seniors, we'll go over the hail damage in a few minutes, but what are some signs our seniors should be looking for, Eddie?
Well, I mean, first with the roofing, it'll start with stains. If you have stains on your roof, you definitely would want to get those cleaned.
Okay.
What happens is the algae and the lichen will actually take the granulation off of the shingle. Another thing to look for is your gutters. If the gutters are plugged and your gutters aren't flowing properly, those are also problems. In the wintertime, if they're not cleaned in the spring, in the wintertime, they'll plug up a lot easier with the ice. So there's a lot of different signs and stuff to look out for.
Okay, so now I'm a senior, and I'm living in Naugatuck, and I'm going to call Brown Roofing. What do you charge for a once-a-year maintenance checkup?
Well, it varies on every house. Every house is different.
Okay.
But, your average home for a gutter cleaning and a downspout cleaning and a roof inspection is like $300.
That's a no-brainer. To save $10,000 for $300, it's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Because
It's definitely a wise thing to do.
You have always taught me that if I see buckling in the shingles, that there's actually water heaving underneath it. Correct?
Yes. There's some sort of moisture getting in there.
All right. So anyone with questions, if anyone had any hail damage, I know you've been, I see your trucks all over Oakville when I'm driving home, especially near Ordinary Joe's over there on the Buckingham Street area. The hailstorm a couple weeks ago with the golf ball size hail really wreaked some havoc, huh?
It definitely did, definitely. And it's very hard to see from the ground. You actually need to have someone on your roof to inspect it.
All right.
To find that damage. It's very hard to see from the ground.
And so basically what? It came down so hard that it broke the shingle itself?
Yes. It actually hits so hard that it knocks the granulation off of the shingle. So you're either directly down to the fiberglass mat or the asphalt mat.
And that could lead to a total nightmare.
Definitely. It definitely takes the longevity of the roof, that's for sure.
All right, so put the scare tactic into my seniors. If you have a couple dollars saved and the roof is old, what are they really looking at? A complete tear off of the old triple tab, not architectural shingle, and a replacement of the wood. What's a high price? About 15, 20 grand? What's the price of a 16 square roof?
Well, once again, it varies. If it's on plywood and the existing decking is plywood, your average house is around the $8,000 area. If you have a big house with wood shakes on it where it has to be re-plywooded, you're looking at anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000.
See, so it's better to be proactive, like Tom Smith is trying to tell us with his checklist. Get these things regularly looked at. Correct?
Definitely.
All right. That's Brown Roofing. That's going to be my roofing expert. I told you I'd reach out to you. Tell Gary I said hello, and thanks so much for your time, Edward.
Thank you very much
Bye,
for
Eddie.
having me.
See you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
So, Tom, take it away. That was a great top topic, and I told you I'd have at least a roofer calling.
And so,
All right. Good deal.
not only the roof, we need to look at the furnace, we need to look at the plumbing. This is something that a lot of times you'll see the man of the house was the one who took care of all this, and as he ages out, he's physically not able to maintain this.
Right.
Things get neglected, and it starts to affect the quality of life of the entire family. And this is the type of thing that, although I'm not a contractor, this is a big dollar value item for the families that Michael and I work with. And these are the type of things that we're going to be collaborating on in the future to bring a better service level to our clients. And people say, well, why are you interested in carpentry and roofing? Well, it's not a carpentry issue, it's a quality of life issue.
They can't have the walls being leaked in. I remember in the October storm, there was so much heaving in the gutters. The water was actually coming in to the homes on some of my clients and destroying the drywall and everything.
Yeah.
All right. Touch on what you and I rehearsed in practice, because that was a home run. The Greenwich Police Department, everyone's doing the wellness. Is that the wave of the future?
I think it's going to be something
Take it.
that
That's you.
that businesses will not be able to overlook anymore. One of the people on my staff is Dr. Sarah Gamble of Signature Concierge Physicians in Greenwich, and her husband is a police officer, and in talking with the management in the town and the police department, being a police officer is a very stressful job. They're eating a lot of fast food on the road all the time, and they can't just replace a police officer who becomes ill with just anybody. You can't give Michael Regan a gun, a stun gun, and a nightstick and have him go out and take care of the community.
And I need a second chance vest, believe me, because I don't want to get popped.
And
Oh, man.
so when she evaluated the big picture of all of the officers, they put in a very proactive program to look at everything from lifestyle issues as far as smoking, diet, and stress levels, and they put in a program to evaluate and address how to better manage the officers' health care needs with a 6-to-1 savings for every dollar that the department invested. The town is now looking at this model for all of their employees, and it wasn't like there was a lot of science and medicine to it. It was a lot of common sense. What are they eating? She made every officer bring in a list of what they bought either on the road at fast food restaurants or their grocery list. And these are the type of little changes that can be made that can bring significant dollar savings to a business, and in this case, a municipality. And this is sort of a trend that's going to have to be implemented because we are not a healthy nation. We eat poorly, we smoke, we drink, we're very stressed. And when
We are.
And when you see the implications, and I'm preaching to the choir here, the hypertensive diabetic, 5 to 7 times the care costs of a quote-unquote conventionally healthy person. And these are the type of things that I'm doing at Aging Workforce Solutions. You can go to www.agingworkforcesolutions.net.
Slow down. This is Good Time Oldies Station. Slow down.
Okay. .agingworkforcesolutions.net. And we are carrying this message out into the community. And I'm fortunate to have people like Michael, like Dr. Gamble, I have a number of other healthcare providers with specific niches, and I was just recently introduced to an entity in Naugatuck, Michael Macniak, who is the founder of Guardian Ad Litem Services, which is a mental health specific watchdog agency that helps to facilitate better delivery of mental health services, keeping his patients out of the emergency room, out of the correctional system, out of the psychiatric hospitals, and functioning in the community, which has saved the state of Connecticut millions of dollars. It's not a complex idea, but it's getting out there and delivering services where they're needed in the communities. And he's statewide, but he has started and had a strong emphasis in working with the Naugatuck Waterbury communities.
Excellent. That's our area.
And I'm hoping to get Michael in touch with Michael Regan so that they can become better aware of what Guardian Ad Litem Services is doing to help reduce cost and deliver a better quality of life to the population that has challenges with their mental health. And as the aging workforce evolves, you're going to start to see that a number of areas, with a special emphasis on the medical community, these professionals who have been in nursing and surgical practices and preventative medicine, a lot of these people are going to be retiring, and it's going to be a challenge to replace them.
Right.
And so it has to be we're looking at more of a grassroots approach to how we're going to be delivering healthcare to our communities. And people like Michael, I was very intrigued with his energy and how he supports his clientele and his community in general with a service level that's just an extraordinary effort on his part and his office's part. The fact that he can harness people like Vicky to come and be this incredible resource to the community and break down complex administrative and medical issues to a layperson-friendly theme is something that's very much needed across the board in all our cities, not just here in Waterbury and Naugatuck and down where I am in the Stamford area. These are, again, one of the messages was it's not one person that's delivering this. It's not Obama. It's how the entire medical system and community support systems are going to be delivering health care moving forward.
Right. The reason I'm doing this, again, what if this was my mom at some doctor's office or some insurance agent at the kitchen table? There's not enough honesty out there anymore. There's always smoke and mirrors. It's always some hidden agenda. So I've got to, again, thank Tom Shute, Mark Gilmore, Trish Torello for sure, for believing in me. And producer Tom and producer Nick have gotten the show off the ground. Amazing. I mean, I won't even let someone else sit in the chair. If producer Tom's not here, I'm like, no. Show's not going on today. So we've had a really good run. Let me give you some plugs, because that was extremely nice of you to say nice things about me. The 5 essentials in caring for aging family members. Here he is, genius, his photo up here. He used to be Thomas Smith Elder Care, but now he's pivoted his name now, which I obviously like, Aging Workforce, which is a great name. Draft appropriate wills and trusts. Tom lays this all out on his website for you. And are my clients going to pay a fee for service? How do they pay you for these consultations?
It's all situational. I mean, if someone has a very uncomplicated question, I'm not going to bill them to spend 5 or 10 minutes on the phone with them.
Or maybe we could just have you as a regular on the show, like a quarterly. Let me go over these, because these are good. Draft appropriate wills and trusts. He's going to go over wills, living wills, trust, power of attorney. That, I've got all day. Power of attorney and trust, I use Bob Lubis. Living will, my buddy I know well. We've been friends for years at Grady and Riley. Archive, medical, and RX. RX, obviously, as you should know, is short for prescriptions. Archive, medical, and prescription information. That's a genius move. And I'm sure you go as far as like laminating the sheet or something, right?
I have a pre-established piece that I can scan or email to somebody.
That's your intellectual property. You hold that. People want these things. Believe me, that's brilliant. Danger-proof living areas. How are you thinking of these things? That's you?
Well, I've been a caretaker for both of my parents for the last 10 years, and my father was Mr. Fix-It. And
Throw rugs.
that's one of the major causes of falls, which is a $26 billion a year tab for our medical system.
All right, so didn't mean to step on your toes. Your father was Mr. Fix-It. Go ahead.
And he's now, he suffers from a serious case of dementia. He's got heart disease. He's got cancer. He's no longer in the picture. I was a schoolboy. I was trying to help him. He told me to go play basketball because I just wasn't the tool guy. And now that he's no longer in the picture, I have to have people who are competent come into the house once or twice a year and take a look at things that need to be fixed. And these are things that could potentially create falls. And again, quality of life issues.
All right, we'll be back. We're going to plug the sponsors. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Told you Tom was a smart guy.